All right. Welcome everybody to the April 4th, 2023 Delta Club Board of Directors meeting. Something real quick. The POLA order came in within a couple days, definitely within the week. And I think I handed a few out after Skywarn and all the others I'll have at the meeting or at Free Fest if they can't attend, or either way. So John, since you did VOTA, do you want to give us a recap on how that went?
Yeah, sure. We got to operate for well, it wasn't 24 hours. It was basically from around 5 p.m. Our time to 8 a.m. the next morning as W1AW/4. Steve Frazier and myself did most of the operating. I ended up with 148 contacts. Even had one from Japan. So I thought it went really well. I did FT8 primarily. Steve did single sideband and some FT8. I did not stay up all night and operate. I operated from about the time it started till about 10 or 11 o'clock that night. It was fun. It was interesting. You ever want to see, you want to call CQ and see a dozen stations come back at you at the same time, that's definitely a way to do it. So hopefully we'll have more opportunities to do that, and hopefully the next time we will have more people that want to join in. Cough, cough, Perry.
How many contacts? You say you had 100 and what?
I had 148.
And do you know about Steve? Or was that total?
I can't remember how many he had total.
Seems like he told us, but I can't remember.
Around 60, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Between 40 and 60, something like that.
Between 40 and 50?
40 and 60, somewhere in there.
Oh, 40 and 60.
I want to say we were close to 200 total.
I think he did more single sideband.
Yeah, he did. That was primarily what he did. I was just happy because I beat Damon Runyon because he was doing FT8 during the day on FT8. He had 90 something, I think. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. As I understand it, there may be another opportunity coming up in September. Not 100% sure about that, but we'll certainly be happy to share with people how I set things up to be able to do it via FT8. It was really quite easy. So,
what band was you working?
Primarily 20, but I did some 40.
Steve had 48 contacts, mostly phone, but a few FT8.
Right. So, but yeah, hopefully and hopefully I didn't jump in and hijack it. I literally the weekend before this event was when I put that Hustler 5B TV up, and I put it up because of Mary Jean's announcement at the Delta Club meeting that they were going to be doing this event, and I didn't have an HF antenna up, so I kind of jumped in at the last minute, willing to do it. But like I said, hopefully more people will share in the fun next time.
Well, thank you for doing that, and thank you for giving a recap on it. Yeah, hopefully now that y'all kind of been our guinea pigs, hopefully we can drum up some more interest when it rolls back around in September. But it seems like y'all got just for two of you, you've got quite a few contacts though, so I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, with FT8, it was really easy because what I did to avoid any confusion, because I have a lot of auto logging stuff set up, and so all I really did was in WSJTX, the client that works for FT8, I just cleared my log file in that program prior to starting, And then I just made sure that my other logging programs weren't up and running. And then at the end of the event, I exported that log in WSJTX, so it only had the W1AW contact. So it was really quite simple to do, and I'll be happy to share that with anybody that wants to do that next time, because I know there was some concerns over that.
Okay, sounds good. So Free Fest is Saturday, right? I think it is. And I talked to Mike about it. And so we should, so what we were thinking, and I think we've done this before, is especially now that we're doing the Gmail stuff, so we're not limited by how many emails we can send out, to send out an email maybe Thursday or Friday as a reminder, simply discussing Free Fest, and then we can do Sparks as normal. So, Joe, is there anything we can do for the booth, or do you have everything you need?
I could have some help in the booth. Steve said he'll work with me some, but he wants to be able to get around. Scott, can you work the booth with us?
I probably can if I
Okay,
can get
Perry?
out. Yeah.
Perry, can you do VE testing? Help out on VE testing?
Yep.
Okay.
I
Barry,
can help out in the morning.
well, it's only from 9 to 11, the VE testing.
Oh, no, I'm talking about, I don't know. I just don't know yet, because my daughter is having a big thing and everything, and I've got to talk to her to find out when it is. And I'm trying to delay it,
Okay.
make it later in the afternoon, but it's very possible. But I'll be there.
I will be missing you all because I am on call for work, and typically we will be busy on Saturday until about 3 p.m., which is when our cutoff is for shipping on Saturdays. So never fails, but hopefully I'll be able to go to Huntsville.
Joe, I can help with the booth if you need.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm planning to be
Yeah.
there all day.
The booth, I've got the tubs. I got 4 tubs that Steve is going to bring, plus the loose oscilloscope, plus 2 cardboard tubes with an antennas in one and aluminum strut in the other. And then I've got 1 tub here that I'll be bringing. Plus, Steve is testing a Kenwood 950S. He picked it up this morning to test it, and he's going to bring it. So we'll have that radio there as well as the other stuff. I've got a 7100, I believe, that was Al Simpson's that'll be in it. We'll have plenty gear.
Okay, and I can rotate in to do whatever. I'm going to be there all day. I know I'm supposed to help out in the kitchen at some point, but I don't know what time. And so I figured I'm just going to rotate in and help wherever throughout the day. So.
Okay, Bob was asking me about VE, and I know I talked to Bob White. He's going to help out for VE.
Well, if y'all need somebody during a certain time, I can try to be over there. Just let me know.
Okay.
And at this point, I should be available for that. So.
Okay. It looks like then we'll have plenty of VEs.
This ARRL?
Yes. Yeah, Bob is liaison. He'll be there in a wheelchair. He got out of his cast Friday.
Good.
Anything else on Free Fest that we need to do, y'all? Okay.
No, it just, if people are available Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock to help set up, they're more appreciative.
Good. That was my question, because I'm gonna try to do that too. So
Yeah, I'll be there Friday afternoon also.
Okay, good. Yeah, put cardboard down and wrap the tables in butcher paper.
I was initially planning on it, but it honestly depends on where we're at with cleanup. So I'm gonna see what I can do to try to do both. But I'll get back to you, and I'll try to be up there if I can on Friday. How's the Huntsville bus looking?
Well, I was delayed a little bit in getting a quote. It's like $2,300. They don't have a 40-passenger bus anymore. It's out of service for parts. And so I went back to them and said, can we get a discount? And I gave him a $1,900 range, and he's supposed to get back with me. So I don't have any figures. I just got the information this afternoon, and I've been out most of the afternoon getting medicine and doing some stuff that I needed to do, and wasn't able to put the figures together. I'm having problems finding the 2022 file. Back then, my computer was messed up to where I'm having to look for that file. It's not in the file where it normally is. So I can't put the figures together, from compare it to last year yet. I can't remember if we paid, I think, $2,000 for the bus. But I'll try to put figures together and get it back out to the board the next day or so.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you again. I know you always handle that, but thank you for handling that, because I know it's a lot, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years.
I know, having ridden the bus last year, it was my first time going to Hamfest. That is definitely the way to go. And as soon as I find out my work schedule for August, I'll be signing up to go if I can.
Yeah, it was definitely the way to go.
Yeah, you were on there, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, your wife going to go again?
I'm not sure. I'm going to try to talk her into it. So I need some help talking her into getting her tech license. I'm not successful at that so far.
Well, I have the same issue with my wife. I've tried and tried and tried.
Yeah.
hey, mine did.
Yeah.
I remember that, Barry.
Yeah, Barbara sure did.
We have her tag and everything, her vanity tag. So it's got her name or number on it.
Cool. I don't know. Maybe give it time. They might come around.
My internet connection is unstable.
Okay. All right. So website, PayPal. Mike and I met. Gosh, what was this? 2 weeks ago. To try to figure out what we need to do to incorporate PayPal onto the website end. And I know there's some things that I want to check with Jim on the PayPal side before we go with it. And now, honestly, I was planning on working on that this weekend, and then everything played out the way it did. But I wanted to catch you guys up and all that. So we did figure it out, and let's see. Mike, do you think you're going to be able to do a screen share on the website, or do you want to even try?
I think it's gonna be very good, Mary Jean.
Okay. Let me see. I think I took some screenshots. Let me go look for it. So what we did is we logged on, and because I think like we ended up we figured out where, and I say we really, Mike figured out where we needed to link it onto the website. So I was able to log in on the PayPal end and create like the link that they could embed into it. And so it would probably have to be, at what we figured out, it would probably have to be listed separately. So we would have to list the like donation spot separately from listing like where they could log on and pay for their membership. And we would need to list it, we would need to list the amount. So like if we wanted to charge 20, then we would need to charge like $21 as far as that. So we might want to look at the membership applications to see if we need to just put a little note somewhere that prices might be different if paid online, or something where we don't list the amount on the application, but just a little note to kind of cover ourselves. And I logged on. He made the website go live on the donation button just for a minute. So I logged on and did a test run to see, and it went on and I think I did like $1 or $2 of a donation because we weren't sure 100% sure what the fee was going to be, and we didn't want it to mess it up. And it ended up being the 49 cents plus, what was it, 2% or
Yeah, 1.95 or something like that.
yeah. So it was like, I think a 53-cent fee off that $2. Yeah, a 53-cent fee. So it showed $1.47 in the PayPal balance, and I had to go digging a little bit to see, because it just said balance of $1.47. And I had to dig just a little bit, but I was able to find where it said that I paid, and kind of like the little mini invoice. But we would have to list it separately. So where it would be, they would fill out a form and they would return to a page, and then do where they log on to do the PayPal. But it's possible. So it would take a little bit of tweaking, and we would need to probably list the instructions on the website, and that's what I was going to work on, kind of typing out of which steps to do in order. But it shouldn't be too hard. It'd be kind of similar to what Olive Branch has, where they have it where you fill out the form and then it redirects you to where you can pay. And so it would probably have to be something similar to that, where basically you're doing like 2 different steps, but it eventually gets there. Let's see. And then one thing that Mike brought up that and this is what I wanted to check with Jim to try to double check on the PayPal. So the only question or concern with, we've had all these issues with transition with like the bank accounts or this and that. And as hard as it was to even get this PayPal account up and going, we wanted to make sure that it would be able to be transitioned. So whenever Jim is no longer treasurer, that we could easily transition the information to the next person, and it's not going to be solely tied to him. Because if it is, I don't know if we need to figure out a way to do something different or whatever. But 10 years from now, we don't need, if Jim's not the treasurer, we don't need his information on there, and it goes to him with the info. So that's the big thing that we wanted to double check with. And there's just a few things visually that we wanted to kind of work on. But yeah, there was a lot done. Mike was rocking and rolling once we kind of figured out where it was, or he figured it out. He was rocking and rolling on getting stuff changed and adjusted.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. We just need to, I think, it's going to be like a 3-step process, like Mary Jean was saying. You have to download the membership application, and then step 2 is submit the membership application and go pay your dues. So we probably need to make the website more formalized to say that step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we do need to review the application just to show that it would be a little more expensive, I think, to do the PayPal side, like Mary Jean was saying. So there's still a little bit of work to be done to make that happen.
And so and I forgot, I'm sorry, I forgot about this point. So what we had figured out, the only way we could figure it out, there may be a way to do it differently, but from what we can tell, they can scan, or they can go in and download the application from the website. They would fill it out, so they can either type it in and then save it and not ever have to print it out, or they could print it out, fill it out, and then scan it. And then basically they just log into this point, fill out this basic information, and then they attach the application from there. And then after that, they can go in and pay. Let me see if I could log in. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts? Sorry, I know this is a little bit rushed, and I do apologize for that.
Yeah, we probably need to have it at $1, because if somebody's doing a family membership, it's 99 cents. It winds up costing.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
88 cents for $20.
Right.
All right.
So it's 49 cents plus a percentage. Is that what it is?
Correct.
49 cents plus what, 1.99%?
Correct.
Is that it, Mike?
1.95, 1.99. I really can't remember, but yes, sir, you're in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I used 1.99, and that's what it came up, 89
Right.
cents and 99 cents.
Right. We figured that added $1 would cover both of them, the 20 and the $25. But the only kicker here, the only thing I think that's going to be that may cause us a little bit of problem is that we do prorate memberships based on the time of the year. So, January, February, March, it would be the $20. April, May, June, I think we drop it by $5 to $15. So we may
I'd
have
still
to
leave it as $1 added for each one of them.
Right. But, we have to input what the cost of the membership is going to be in the very beginning. So
right,
we may have to do quarterly maintenance to drop those fees. But, it's just something we'll have to remember to do.
Which, and because that's one thing we need to discuss. Do we want to only have the $20 or the $25 memberships, or do we want to go on and list the prorated stuff? Personally, I'm thinking we don't list the prorated, because I feel like there might be a lot of folks who either get confused or something and try to go for the cheaper one. But I don't know, we could have that as an option just to be done with it. But I don't know. I mean, we can add, in theory, as many as we need to
Right.
on there. And then the donation one, I think you could probably set a minimum amount, so that way it makes sure that, I can't remember, but I know the donation one, you can set any amount. If they want to log on and do a donation, they can log in and make a donation. But this is what it looks like on PayPal. So Jim, as treasurer, is the primary, and he went in and created like the secondary accounts for me. So like I can log in and like look, and so see it shows the PayPal balance over here on the left hand side. Of course you can do general, I guess, invoicing stuff, whatever. And then so it does have recent activity. So I can come down here and look at that. And this is where it actually goes in. I don't think I have anything super, but it just shows when it was paid, that it's gone through, and then just the general information of who did it. I don't think it. Yeah, and so memo, it has I can't remember. I think this came off the form. All right, give me just a second, y'all. Y'all can look at this if you need to, or I don't know. All right, sorry. So I think because Joe had asked about being able to see, or I guess if Joe, let's say if Joe were to want to use, or anybody wanted to use the PayPal for paying a class or whatever, in theory we could go in and create its own, like we can go in. Let's see. So basically you can just go in and do set up the PayPal. But anyway, so I'm not going to go digging for it right now, but you can go in here and actually create anything that we need to create and then just send the link to whomever. So let's say if we wanted to do one for like classes, if there was expenses and we, for the books or whatever, Huntsville, Handfest, things like that, we could go and do that. And of course, you know, Mike could log on and we could leave it up temporarily, or we could do it as long as we need to. So as of right now, and again, I've got to talk to Jim about this. As of right now, it's going, when somebody pays, that's what I was going to share. Mike, what day did we meet?
It was last Tuesday, the 27th, 28th.
21st.
Oh wow, it's been 2 weeks.
Oh, I know. Because I believe it's important to see like what they see, you know, when they go and pay, because I feel better if I get a receipt and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know who this is or what this is or something, or I don't know if this looks legitimate or not. Me personally, I'm going to be kind of worried about it until I log on and check some things. But so after I paid the $2 donation to Delta Club on PayPal, and we can pay, they can log in and log into their PayPal and pay. It's got a button that it says you can pay with a credit or debit card. So it technically goes through PayPal, but they can do that. They can pay with Venmo. If they've got Venmo, it lets it sync to that. But this is essentially what the email that I got. because one thing I didn't know, so Jim did get a copy of the email, and so I don't know, and it might not be that big of a difference, but I didn't know if we needed to get it so that way more people could see it, to where we change that to Delta Club, or if we can at least, if it has to be his email address, somewhere putting, you know, Delta Club treasurer Jim Martin or something, so that way people can look at it and say, oh, that must be the treasurer's email. Of course, it may not be that big of a deal, but since he doesn't email a whole lot of folks, I don't think it might help.
Could
I
you
don't know, or-
create a Delta Club treasurer email account, and that way you wouldn't have to go to
Oh.
Jim?
And then they could hand that over?
Yeah.
Well, I think that if we left it the clubs, I think that's what you're kind of just staying with our own club email
Yeah.
address, right, Mary Jean?
Yeah, and because that's what I was thinking. If you know, because a couple different people have access to the Delta Club Gmail account, and so if we're able to switch it, because I don't know, if we're able to switch it to like Delta Club w4bs@gmail.com, then anytime, so whether it's for a class, like if Joe needs to log on and see it quick to see if somebody is actually paid for a class item, or Huntsville, or if somebody, you know, if we need to get that way multiple people are watching the emails, and we could forward it on to folks if there's a reason we need to see who's paid something quick, just in case he's on call and can't check his email for a couple days or whatever. So, but again,
Yes,
I need to talk to him about that too.
The only thing I would wonder about, and you guys could speak to this, is how many emails that Delta Club account gets now, and would these get lost? Yeah, I'm presuming it's not that many, so it probably wouldn't be a big deal. But if it's like my personal email account, I get 500 a day, and you know these emails could get lost in there. That would be my only concern about using the club, but it's probably
Yeah.
doesn't get that many.
I mean, I don't know, unless somebody's gone in and cleared some out. I mean, we've gotten, I don't know, maybe every couple days. Most of the emails, it seems like, are like Zoom general information emails. And so I know I try to, and there may be some that get missed. I don't know. I mean, I try, if I see one that I'm not sure, I try to forward it or get to folks pretty quick. And there's another email we got, we'll talk about a little later, but I don't know, it's not overwhelming. But
Yeah.
I guess my thought about it is that, like you said, like, because I know there's periods of time where I get busy. Like I logged in and I had 11 emails, you know, just this afternoon, which is not a lot, but in my personal one. But like I know Joe, and I can't remember who else, I'd have to go back and look, has access to log into this to check it. So there, in theory, there's a couple people who can log on and check it if one person's too busy to see. And then actually we did get this. So this is not on the PayPal end. Sorry, there's a lot that's happened since we covered this, so I'm kind of remembering stuff as we go. Let me see. All right, so whenever I submitted what we did is I tried to kind of go through a mock situation as if I was logging on as a member and I needed to submit an application and then go. So I downloaded the application from the site. I pretended to kind of punch in a couple things, and then I attached it and filled it in. So right now, Mike was able to go in and do again, the Delta Club, w4bs@gmail.com. And so it came in as a test because I didn't. And so this is with the general information that we had. We had the name, email, call sign, phone number. And of course, I mean, they're not going to know that this stuff gets submitted, but it just has a basic little comment submit form. And then down here at the bottom, it actually attaches whatever. And I didn't fill anything out. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So whether they scan it or whether they type it and save it as a PDF, we're going to be able to see. So it literally comes into the email. It's got the basic information, and then it's got their application attached to it. And so that way, all we have to do, whoever can forward it on, whether we need the secretary and the treasurer to be able to log in with this and make sure that y'all have the login if you don't already, or if we need to just simply forward it as we see them coming in. I mean, that's, or if we need to plug in a different, I would personally feel better about it going to the general email, but if that's not a good idea and we need to do it directly to somebody else, then we can do it however we need to do it.
Well, it's probably not that big a deal if the regular email volume's not that much. I mean, it's probably primarily important for Jim to see them because he's got to, keep up with it, the money side of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a subject line on that email where it'd be easy to spot it or sort it or whatever.
Because what it would say, and we might be able to tweak it again. We didn't go that far, but because the title of the email when it comes in says test name, and so that literally it looks the exact same way. So it would come in that says, if I went on and submitted my application online, it would come in at the from part of it anyway. It would say Mary Jean Hall, or like it's from Mary Jean Hall, and then new job, which, well, again, we have to tweak this, but it says new job form message for Delta Amateur Radio Club via unnamed job widget. So, which that, I mean, they won't see it. It doesn't matter, but that's something I was wanting to try to figure out how to see if we could change like membership application. So that way, if we go and search membership application or application, then it lumps them all together versus unnamed job widget. But
This is off the website or off of Facebook?
website.
Okay.
Website.
Yeah, GoDaddy.
And again, it may be something where we need to kind of poke around and tweak it a little more. We really dove into it a whole lot more. I mean, he kept unearthing a ton of stuff, more than we expected to do, and so we just kind of kept rolling with it to see how much we could do. So we got quite a bit done. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Any thoughts, any directions we need to go, or do we,
I think that, what we're looking for is, should we go and update the form to change the verbiage a little bit and submit that to the board for their review? So, we might need to, like we said, tweak the form, and then we do need to go in and provide better guidance on the steps that we need to take to receive that and to receive the dues over the website. So, are you guys okay with us marking something up and submitting that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just a quick question. When you say the form, are you talking about the PayPal form or the application or both?
The application.
Okay.
Yeah. So Let me open this up. Yeah, the application, because like down here, and from what we were talking about, if we don't, I think we can get away with, instead of saying individual membership $21 online, family, you know, 26 online or whatever, just in case something happens with PayPal and the fee percentage changes or whatever. I think just putting a simple bullet point somewhere kind of in this middle area that basically says, if, you know, something along the lines of like payment online is an option. Check the web deltaclub.org for a current amount if you pay online or whatever, or for PayPal or, so that way we don't actually have the price listed on here in case the fee changes, but it just has something on the printed form that mentions that they can pay online, and then mentions that
Plus a PayPal
there's
fee.
a fee. There's a fee, and it just don't mention what the fee is. And then down here we would probably need to adjust it as well, and just do a small, just do a small box somewhere that says PayPal. And I guess at that point, if there's anything else we need to change on this form, that'd be a great time to do it. I know we changed this a couple of years ago. But is there anything that y'all can think of that we might need to adjust on here while we're doing the adjustment?
I don't know what the record note really means, to where you can eliminate that and put in PayPal payment.
Oh. Yep. Okay.
Well, the thing about it is if they're filling out the application and the amount, they're going to have to know how much to pay on PayPal to fill in the amount over on the left.
Well, the treasurer fills that in, or no?
No, it fills in.
You're right.
The
You're
person
right.
fills it in.
Well, we would have it listed before they even get to the payment part. We would have it listed, what the totals would be. I mean, if we need to go on and spell it out and just keep updating the form, if the fee changes, we can go on and do that.
I don't think the fee is going to change that many times.
Yeah. So then you think go on and just spell it out, 21 or 26.
Yeah.
Well, if you were going to set the fee to $1, like you said, for both, you could just fill it in for them. Well, no, in that box at the bottom is what I was thinking, but maybe add a box there for PayPal fee.
Maybe a note like add $1 processing fee when paid online or something.
Yeah, and then you could actually put so that you didn't confuse it with the dues, put it in that bottom left-hand corner also for, processing fee, and then they could drop the $1 in there.
Oh, okay.
Scan back up if you would. Scan it back up. Okay, it says, where is it? Is it individual? Where does it say family, or does it? It doesn't say anything about family, does it? Other than down lower in the box of filling their names in.
It just says may include family members for $5 additional.
Well, what I was thinking is if you have individual membership, click it, and then it automatically fills in the amount down at the bottom. In other words, if a person clicks individual membership, then it fills automatically the $21. If it clicks family membership, it puts in $26.
Um,
And
So
then
you're
if they want to make a
saying-
donation,
so you're saying go and create this into where it's an interactive form and not just something they can type in and print out.
yeah, if that can be done.
I mean, I could
Well,
download it.
the 20,
I'd have to pay for the program to be able to do that, I think, on that, which I don't mind seeing if I can use one of the email addresses for a trial.
well, it says here add family, so that adds $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, we can try and see what happens and see how much confusion it is. Or if there is confusion,
Yeah, because one thing I would think, like, and I guess that's kind of what Olive Branch is doing. There's a couple steps, and we do need to clarify on the website if they're paying online. Hey, there's a few steps. These are the steps. This is the order you need to do everything. And like it's going to be a little bit of a hassle, but I guess for folks who don't write checks anymore and don't carry cash and don't, whatever.
I would suggest
Hopefully they
having
can
just
get
one
over it.
category, an individual at 20 and family at 25. And if they want to pay by check or something offline, then it can be prorated, but online it'll be either 21 or 25, 21 or 26.
Yeah, I personally, I do like the idea of if the prorating, just so we can make sure it's going to new people doing in person only.
And the people that are going through clubs and testing, they get their membership free for the balance of the year. So it's zero.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see what I can do to kind of tweak this a little bit. And this isn't going to be published anywhere until we approve it as a board, but I'll try to kind of play around with it and see what we can come up with based off that information. All right. Do y'all have any? I mean, and again, we'll work on it some more. I'm gonna get with Jim first and kind of double check a few things, and then get back. I know I'll have to probably get back with Mike to make sure we're good. But any other feedback or anything? Yay! Are we on the right track that we like? Do we want to go a different direction?
I think we're on track. I'd say
It
go
looks
21
good.
and 26.
Okay. All right. The tornadoes, since John was the net, I know, I mean, it's, there was a lot of damage in our area. It seems like, I don't know, are any of you guys, yeah, you're in Collierville, Barry. What's it look? Is it okay down there? Or because it looks like Collierville got hit, Germantown pretty hard.
No, Collierville did not get hit at all.
Okay.
As far as I know, I mean, it was pretty calm.
Okay. Well, I reached out and I sent this in the email, and thank you, Joe, for the contact information. I reached out to Tipton County on behalf of Delta Club just to kind of check in and check in to see if any of their members were impacted by the storm. And he said none of them got hit, but he said like he had some shingles come off of his barn or something that, they got cleaned up pretty quick. But he said that all their repeaters appear to be good and safe. And so, but I mean, I still told him if he thinks of anything, we'd, of course, we'd be happy to help, raise any money for anybody if there's a need, or see if there's anybody who needs to try to come up and help with anything or whatnot. And he felt like they were in a good spot, but he said he'd get back if there was. But I know John, and I think y'all were talking about it a little bit, but John, as net control, do you want to, I don't know, do you want to do a little discussion about how that all went?
Well, we kind of already talked about it, but yeah, I was net control for about 3 hours with the National Weather Service, and out of all the reports I received, I think I received one that was actually what we would consider valid, and it was a report where someone reported at Mount Moriah 240 that they have winds estimated between 40 and 50 miles per hour. Everything else was just really unbelievable to me. We had one person that reported power flashes from Collierville. They report that every single storm. We had a guy from Marion call wanting to know why his power was out because they didn't have any storms move through that area. Well, we're not a utility company, and I don't know. There was a tornado that crossed 55 about 5 miles north of there earlier in the evening. So it was kind of disappointing. I find myself in a dilemma because I do not want to discourage any actual reports. But at the same time, we're looking for specific data. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I announced the criteria that we were looking for on multiple occasions. So I don't know, thinking about doing a presentation on that at some point. But again, I don't want to discourage people from reporting, but at the same time, calling in to our net to report that your power's out and you don't know why really doesn't do us any good. So.
Hey, John, if you're looking for some programs, I was wondering if I'd heard you say in the past that you had a weather station. So I don't know if the National Weather Service could come out and talk to us about some of the better weather stations to have and what kind of data that they would be looking for or something along those lines. But, I'm interested in a weather station at my house as well.
Okay.
And so, so I don't know if that, if you're looking for some material or not, but that'd be something I'd be interested in seeing. I don't know.
I doubt if they'll recommend any weather stations.
Yeah, because they're really like, I know for certain that they recommend a certain app for radar usage, but they won't call it by name because as a government agency, they don't be seen as promoting one product over another.
Yeah.
By the way, that's Radar Scope. I can say that. They can't. We had, here's another frustration. Before I was net control, one of the first reports I heard was someone from Millington reporting that they were starting to receive a lot of lightning. Okay. What was the first thing that Brian Beal said at Skywarn training? I mean, almost the very first topic was that lightning is not an indicator of severity.
Severe weather.
Nothing to do. You can have lightning when there's not even a cloud in the sky. So again, I don't want to discourage people from reporting, but definitely want to see more valid reports. They listed downloads, and in the spotter guide, it tells you how to estimate the wind speed, what to look for as far as trees bending, shingles flying off roofs, things of that nature, give you clues as to an estimated wind speed. The other thing, Mike, to your point, I have a Tempest weather station. I love it because it's solid state. I used to have, I think it was called an AccuWeather that had the little spinning cups and the weather vane and all that. And those have moving parts that wear out. The Tempest is all solid state, and you literally mount it on a piece of like 1-inch PVC up in the air, and it Bluetooths to a little receiver in the house, connects to the internet. It interfaces with Weather Underground. Really like it. Carlos, I can't think of his call sign right now. He has one as well out in Collierville.
Tempest.
Hey,
All right, thank
how long
you.
how long do the batteries last?
No batteries, it's solar.
Okay, I've got one of the regular X-rates and every 2 months I'm putting 4 batteries in that.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, the old AccuWeather one that I had to put batteries in the outdoor station, but this is solar powered. So it has a rechargeable battery in it that it keeps charged. I've had it for a couple of years and love it. So
Carlos O'Neill, KB4CO.
thank you, Joe.
But yeah, I was
Excuse me for
really
coughing.
excited to listen. Oh, you're fine. I was excited to listen in finally because I finally got my DMR radio programmed and I'm getting, to understand what it's all about. And I was really disappointed. And again, this is personally, but I was really disappointed listening to all the stuff getting reported in. And I think there might have been a couple that I heard because I logged on to it at like 4 o'clock or 3:45 or something when it was over in the Wynn, Arkansas area, just to see if I could kind of hear anything. And there were a couple sheriff's deputies, I believe, who were calling in, and basically they were confirming, yes, we see a tornado, or yes, we've seen, we see damage here where a tornado went through and it's, leveled or whatever. But after that, when it got over to this area, I mean, like he said, I think maybe the one time, and that was it. And I mean, and John, in my opinion, did a great job. All the net control operators, in my opinion, did a phenomenal job exhibiting patience with dealing with that. And I was about to go to bed, and a friend of mine in Hardin County texted to ask because they could not see the radar because of where they're at, all the radar was covering other areas. And so because they were out in where like the 3 different radars meet, I think Huntsville, Nashville, and Memphis. And so I ended up staying up late, and I don't think it was until after the net was technically over at like 1 o'clock or 1:30, whenever the Oxford tornado popped back up at that time, and somebody actually called on and said, hey, I want to let you know, and somebody was listening. I didn't catch the name, but I want to let you guys know that I'm out here. I'm so many miles in this direction outside of this town, and I see hail that's this diameter right now. And then he came on like 10 minutes later and said, I see the tornado, or what appears to be the rotation of a tornado. And then he came on a little bit later and said something else. But like outside of that, I mean, it was, I don't know. I even emailed John. I was like,
Yeah.
Could this be,
Yeah. And
but
not to spend all night on this topic, but if you were ever interested in what a radar signature of a tornado looked like, we had several great examples the other night. Part of the reason was because the system that moved through was not part of a squall line. So you had several individual supercells moving through, and the signatures were very very definitive. I mean, there was, you hear about that hook, the one that moved through Wynn, man, it looked like a curly Q on top of a Dairy Queen ice cream. I mean, it was crazy how well defined these things were. Definitely hope I never see that again. So,
yeah.
But from a learning experience, it was really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess information got shared on there, but it was enough of an issue, in my opinion, and John's, it sounds like that it might not hurt to bring that up and try to reiterate again, because I don't know. There's just a lot of folks on the air that didn't need to be. But so anything else on that? All right, so in June, I believe I'm gonna have to go dig out the login, and and I'll be better prepared probably. And I can look at this in the next week or two and try to email you guys or say something to y'all at the meeting. But apparently in June, register.com, our domain, is going to renew. And I cannot remember how much you said, or Mike, do you happen to know?
I do not know the amount.
Okay. And so we'll have to look into that a little more. I know we've got just a couple months left to go, but I wanted to go on and say something. And we may have, I can't remember if we mentioned it last month or not, but it is coming up. So I know that's something we got to check out, because I think that's the one that we did for what, like 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Anybody remember?
It was 3 or 5. It's bound to have been more than 3 years, because
Yeah.
we were doing it. We did it in Steve Frazier was president.
Yeah.
And
Do you have the username and password, Mary Jean?
I think he sent me something, but I've got to go digging
Yeah.
for it. I think
Steve
it was the
probably has
login
it.
for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
have
sent
it.
it to me, I think. Well, I'll tell you what, I may try. I'll go look through that email. Joe, I know you've had a lot going on with training classes. Do you want to go on and fill us in on that?
We had in extra class, we had one guy, general class. One guy got general that was in Texas. And then extra, we had, I've forgotten how many we actually got. Two in New Hampshire and one in Chattanooga, and trying to think if there was 2 or 3 in Memphis. And then the tech class, we tested and had 3 tests for technician. The class ended last night. I had 2 students last night who were pretty inquisitive. They were probably the most inquisitive ones in the whole class. And I think they enjoyed it. Also, they paid for ARRL membership, so they get the Delta Club membership free. And I sent Paul the applications earlier this evening. And one of our instructors paid his membership. So, and that application is there. So that's, and the 3 students, 2 of the students I know got the Explorer QRZ1 radios, and for starters. And I'm trying to think, and I loaned one of the Aries suitcase radio, the Kenwood D700s, out to one of them to have it as a base station at the house. So anyway, that's the testing right now. We started out with 13. 3 people never showed up. It was 10, and then it went to 8. And I'm not sure. I think only about 2 others might test. Scott, you might get on your dispatcher, get her to get ready for testing. And there was another lady that was in the class, so I'm not sure how many will actually get their license. As a result of this, I've been thinking about charging for the class to give them an incentive, because I've had people, they don't even have the courtesy to let me know they're not going to come to class. And to me, that's very irritating. And I've been thinking about charging $45 for the ARRL technician license manual and $15 for them to test when the class tests. If they don't test with the class, the money goes to Delta Club. It'll give them an incentive. You know,
Well,
I don't, you know, if there's really a problem with somebody paying, then we, you know, we can have a prerogative to waive it. But this way it'll give people an incentive to stay with the class, I think. It's been irritating, particularly with the Zoom classes, that people just don't show up, and they don't let me know that they're not going to be there. And I'm looking, you know, trying to see if they're trying to check in to admit them and all of that. And it's time consuming. But I don't know, what is everybody else? I know we've gone years and years for no charge, but.
Well, Joe, you put more time and energy into this than anyone else I know, so I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I mean, it's just flat out rude when we offer it via Zoom that can't even show up.
Perry, what do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, if they have some skin in the game, then I think they'll follow through with it. But when they're not out anything, you know, and they go, well, you know, I'd rather watch TV tonight or something like that. And you have people that are giving of their time to be instructors and to answer questions and try to put on a good program. And you've got, you know, you running the Zoom. So I think it's a great idea.
We'll need PayPal up though to.
Here we go.
We're working on it, Mr. Joe.
Yep.
We're working on it.
We're getting there. There was a lot, especially with Mike. He figured out a lot of what we need. And I mean, we might be able to shorten some steps or something, but like, I think it's simple enough that if we did what we're thinking we can do, that it'd be okay. Because I mean, I would think surely most of our money's still going to get submitted by check or cash anyway, in person. It's only a handful that are adamant about not having a checkbook and they just never carry cash or whatever. I mean, I'm going to always have a checkbook as long as they keep taking them, but that's me, you know. I don't know.
And
But
if we charge, I can get ARRL to ship directly to the individual house. I can order it and get the discount and have it shipped directly to their house. So that makes it easier and not have to be delivered. I did not realize that you could do individuals like that all the time. But actually, I found that out through the W9UU website guy. They charge $30 and it's for the book.
I like the idea. I mean, like y'all mentioned, like Joe's the one putting in all the time as director of training, and honestly, like, I mean, I don't know. We're starting to get, and I mean, I know I'm kind of on the edge of that generation, but it seems like a lot of the younger folks are just not. I don't know. I mean, flaky's not the word, but they're not as good about following through with commitments and stuff. And
Flaky is a great word.
Well, it's not politically correct, so I was trying to think of, you know, but I don't know, it may give them a little skin in the
They want
game
instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not any stick-to-itiveness to it. I don't think, to a great extent.
They think WORK is a cuss word. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Hey, Joe, of the 3 people that tested, did all 3 pass or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just the other gentleman was sick and couldn't make it last night.
Okay. I just didn't know
All three of them were somewhat inquisitive during the course, I think. And John's getting an Aries member out of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Actually, 2.
Oh, 2? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, both of them emailed me today.
Oh, okay. See, that's good for you giving the class.
I have no complaints. That was fun.
Well, I mean,
We
do
really
you want
didn't make
to?
a.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Rick Tillman was there, but he was having problems with his set. But we did hear the ISS was the only thing coming over, but we actually saw the ISS.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw it Saturday. When they mentioned it was going over during the net, and it was really neat to watch. It was a lot slower than what I expected.
It's only traveling at 18,500 miles per second per minute. What is it? 18,500
miles per hour.
per hour. What was really amazing was one time after an Aries meeting, we were at Baptist Women's Hospital. The ISS came over. A resupply ship was following it right behind it, and then a crew change ship was right behind it. So we saw all three of them.
Oh
Wow, that would
Wow.
be cool.
That's cool.
Do you want to go on and make that decision, or do you want to think on it? Because your next class wouldn't start until a technician class in the late summer.
June, end of June or first part of July.
Is that something
why
you
don't
want
we
to go
vote
on
on it and say it's at my prerogative?
Okay.
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Is there a second? Well, all right. So I've got a motion to if we want to start charging for classes on what Joe is thinking, reasonable, of course. All right. So I got a motion. A second.
Second.
All right. I saw Scott's hand, so we'll say Scott. Is there any discussion on it? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Likewise, or nay? Okay. The motion unanimously passes. That Joe, if he decides that it's appropriate to start charging for any classes with books and basic stuff, that we can do that. All right.
So who
Good deal.
officially made the motion? We'll say John.
We could say John. Yeah, I heard like three people, so
Mike was one of
John
them.
or Perry
Yeah,
or
it works for
Mike,
me.
Okay. I have to have accurate notes here, folks.
Oh,
I
for
got
sure.
You can't read minds either.
You got to have accurate people first.
Yeah.
Anything that I like it, obviously.
Yeah.
Anything else, Joe, that you have?
I don't think so.
John, do you have anything else?
No.
What's the program going to be? Tuesday night.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Cam Hilliard is going to do an introduction to Mars. So, we
good.
have Armed Forces Day coming up. And, when you order a radio on Gigaparts and they offer to have a Mars mod, what is that? How do you get on Mars? Do you have to register for anything? That sort of thing. So, Cam Hilliard's doing that.
What's his call?
An introduction to Mars.
W4 GMM.
Yeah.
W4.
sorry.
All right, thank you.
Then for May, Bobby Stroud is doing an introduction into Parks on the Air. So he's going to talk about activating a park versus hunting a park, rapidly deploying antennas, all that kind of good stuff. He actually mentioned to me that he's gotten really good at turning his vehicle into a rapid deployment station. So, then looking ahead to June, Steve Frazier is going to do a presentation on N3FJP, which is our logging software for Field Day. So, and then I reached out to David Norris today, haven't gotten a response today about July's meeting. Hopefully we'll get an update on everything going on with the Delta Division. I know he'll be at Free Fest this weekend, but hoping he'll speak directly to our club as well. So that's everything I have.
Sounds good, Barry.
David Norris will be giving a forum up in the second floor conference room, probably at 11 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, he usually does. So I wish I could be there.
Barry, I don't really have anything, so go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but John, are those speakers going to be on Zoom or in person?
No, I did possibly David Norris. I told him that if we had to, we could accommodate Zoom, but we would prefer it to be in person. So,
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Barry.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Sounds
Everything-
great.
Yeah. I'm not spending anything yet. Just get ready.
Well, the repeater sounds like it's been doing well lately.
Well, it's kind of intermittent. It's like the same old problem. When the channel, the TV station was getting into it. But they only replaced the one station. What was it? 30, I think, channel 30.
Yeah, channel 30.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the one they replaced. They did not replace the other one, 24, which is right next to it. So I don't know if it's starting to have a problem, but apparently it's getting intermittent as far as the receive coming in. Signals interfering with it. So I don't know. Here we go again.
Barry, did you see where 2430 applied for an FCC interruption or something continues? Evidently they sold something or changed hands. Did you see that on 24?
No, I have not.
There was something that was coming on 24, and I was trying to look it up on their site, but it was something they filed with the FCC, and I know they do a renewal, but there was
They do an annual review every year. There's an FCC annual review every year.
Yeah, but this one came up with something different. I hadn't seen it, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know if that has anything to ties with what's going on out there, but it might. Who knows?
I don't know.
I'll find out.
Tell you why they're not doing anything about it out there.
Good. No news is good news. But
I've got two things. One will be the snacks. I take it we need Diet Coke and some other snacks that I need to get some. I'll get some different ones this time around. The other thing is the cordless microphone that we have in use at the church. You know how statically it was. So I did some research on it, and I found some used ones on eBay, but they wanted just as much as a new one. Then I went to the manufacturer's site, and they actually have a replacement, but it's going to be like I looked at it was $30 plus $10 shipping. So you're looking at a $40 for a mic, a replacement mic of what we have. Then I looked at the entire system that the church currently has. That was a 2-channel UHF mic, and the one on eBay, on the one on Amazon, wanted $80, and but it was going to take about 3 to 5 weeks to get here. Then I went on the manufacturer site, and they have one. It'll probably be about a flat rate from wherever they're located. So a new one would probably be a whole system with 2 mics would be 80, or the replacement would be 40 for 1 mic. So I wanted to just bring it to the table and see if anyone knows how to work on those. But I think there is an issue with those. But if we're going to start having more in-person speakers using that, I didn't know if we wanted to maybe look something for the club or something as a donation to the church or whatever.
I think we paid for that system.
Oh, we did?
We donated it to the system some
We
time
did?
ago.
Okay. Did it come with 2 mics?
I do not remember. I don't think so.
It's a 2-channel. It's 2 channels, 2 wireless channels with 1 output. So, and supposedly the new system, 1 9-volt battery will last 15 hours, but we don't know who else uses that. So
Very seldom do they use it.
probably so. So I didn't know if I was just looking to see if, what our cost options would be, and that's what I found out. So,
Well, it seems like there's something internal with that one microphone that's got some sort of rattle in it. And to be perfectly honest, my feelings are $80 for a whole new system that we know is going to work versus getting just a replacement mic that we don't know for sure if it will pair with the receiver or not. Yeah, it doesn't seem like an extravagant expense to me.
but I didn't know. Actually, it will. It's a B channel, and I took a picture of the one. It probably would work, but there again, 40, 80. But if we bought the system originally, so yeah,
$40 for probably and $80 for definitely. I would go with the $80.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
now we could go back and do. Everyone likes the handheld. Do we want to go back with an earpiece? Nope. Okay. Just thought I.
Well, my opinion is we need to be able to hand that mic off to other people. So if you've got an earpiece, you're taking it off, taking the belt pack off.
Okay.
Handheld seems much better to me.
I'm just covering all my bases. I mean,
Oh, no
and
problem.
one thing, if I order it off Amazon, we have a turnaround. We have a 30-day turnaround if we don't like it. The one ordering it from the manufacturer, I'm not too sure what the return policy is. So it's up to y'all.
Amazon's liberal on their returns too, so
But
they're very good with their returns.
Well, Amazon's starting to tighten up on it also,
yeah,
on the returns.
Should we move to do it, or do we want to think about it?
I move that we go ahead with the whole system.
All right, so there's a motion
I
to
second it.
purchase a new system by Joe. John Reiner seconded the motion. Is there any discussion on it? All right, hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor of purchasing a new system, that Scott, if you can work your magic and let us know which one we need to get. All in favor of purchasing that new system to leave at the church for our meeting, say aye. Or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Likewise. All right, the motion unanimously passes. How exciting. Good
Okay.
deal.
One thing that I forgot to, I've been doing some selling on through NAQCC, and one of the items that I sent out, it seems like a clock module is missing. I've got to research to see if I can find the clock module or purchase one. If not, we're going to have to return the $75 plus the I think $10 shipping. Just wanted to let the board know about that. I'm not going to, if it's defective, I want to get it taken care of and pay the guy back quickly.
Sounds good.
And we did sell the FTM 100 from Al Simpson's estate for $250. And it looks like I'm selling a couple of other items for a total of $150 plus the shipping.
Okay.
I've placed the order for it. It's supposed to be here April 16th to the 27th. It might change depending on Amazon.
Cool.
It was $87 with tax.
Awesome.
And that way we'll have 2 mics that we can play with.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. That'll be nice to have that. Paul? Well,
One
okay,
thing,
so-
do we need to have a motion about refunding if we cannot find the clock or
Do
module?
we need to? I mean, we can get one anyway if you know. So do you want to make your motion, Joe?
I make a motion that if we need to refund the money for the QRP clock.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion on the floor by Joe to refund the money for the QRP clock if needed to be able to do that. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
All right. Scott or Paul, whichever one you want to put, Paul.
Put Scott.
All right. So is there any discussion on that? All in favor say aye or raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. So likewise. All right, the motion unanimously carries. And I know I just called on you, but before we get to the membership application, so we had somebody reach out, and I meant to forward this and I did not. Let me go back to find it. So on March 20th, we got an email through the Delta Club thing, the Delta Club email. And so I think what it is that he went online to do the contact us on the Delta Club website. And I'll just share it real quick. So Whit Winfrey, and I don't know, I think I've talked about this to a couple of you guys, but he reached out and sent this email, and basically I don't know. I wasn't really sure what was going on. And so I replied, and I'll let y'all read this, or I can read it if we need to, but basically it sounds like, I mean, I was sitting here reading this thinking that he was asking questions and got stepped on 20 minutes after the meeting, which, I mean, that would have been pretty late, because I think we were only there for 20-30 minutes after anyway. And then he said he paid for the membership for this year, but doubtful next year, whatnot. Let me go find that email real quick.
Jim and I both talked to him before the meeting, and he seemed like a nice guy. I have no clue what happened. He seemed interested in everything.
Well, and a couple different things played out. There was another email that Joe sent. So hang with me, y'all. I'm working on getting all this stuff slowly. So this is what I sent in response to it, and basically it was like, you know, I'm sorry because I don't know. I read that and I assumed that maybe he was talking to somebody and they kind of spoke over knowledge-wise or something. And so this is what I replied with, trying to encourage him to, you know, reach out. We can, you know, try to pair him up with some folks. You know, I did make a comment that if he really did not want to be in Delta Club, that we can get him refunded before we ever officially process the application and everything and all that. I never heard back anything. And do I need to read this out loud, or can y'all read through that pretty quick? Just y'all let me know when.
When?
Okay. All right. And so I sent that, I think 2 days after he replied, because I want to say he had sent it a little bit later. Here we go. All right. Oh. All right. And so Joe got sent this, and so again, you know, he emailed us or contacted us on the 20th. I responded back on the 22nd, and then I guess he, and I don't know, Alan may have sat on it for a minute, but I mean, I would assume maybe with the way that kind of got worded.
This might be another ham. I don't know if it's the same one or not.
Okay. Well, I didn't know because I mean, if Witt's from Fayette County and the way he was wording everything, I don't know. So I mean, if it's two of them that are together or if it's the same, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So I mean, Joe was thinking since he hasn't responded back. I did email him, offer him if he wanted a refund before we processed it, and I probably agree with Joe at this point. I guess we can go on and process it and let him be a member this year. I guess in the back of my mind, I just didn't want, if he really doesn't want to be here, you know, I don't know that $20 is worth having it here if we're going to get a bunch of concerns that, you know, because I don't know. Unless we've had anybody rude, and I certainly, if I need to do a better job trying to reach out to folks who are there, I mean, I try to be super polite and helpful to anybody who does come up, but I mean, I can try to reach out to the guys. But honestly, there's just a lot of members. I still don't know. I don't know who's new and who's, you know, who just we haven't seen since pre-COVID. Which if I need to do, you know, more on that, I can certainly try to step that up. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Do we need to do anything different or just keep rolling?
I mean, I feel bad he's upset, but he seems kind of needy to me, maybe.
Thank you for saying what I was thinking.
I mean, I do
I know
feel
I try
bad.
to find topics that would appeal to new hams too, because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm still a new ham.
I mean, I try to, you know, introduce myself to a lot of people and talk to people, but I mean, you usually move around. There's a lot of people there, and you know, we want to catch up with old hams, and you know, I don't I don't know. I mean,
And I mean, there's technically there's nothing that's of concern that should block us, I guess, from voting for it. I don't know that I would actually want to deny it per se. I was kind of hoping he'd respond back by now. I feel like it's probably the same person, or it's, if he's with I think, was it two of them maybe that tested together? Maybe they're friends or whatnot. But I mean, I don't know. Like, my thought was, I have a bad habit of trying to overcommit to too much stuff to try to make everybody happy. But if there's one thing I learned in the past couple of years, is that, at some
make
point you
every
gotta,
kid. Yeah.
yeah. And
I don't know.
so I don't know. I mean, but if anything, it brings up a good question. I mean, would there be any issue process wise? Like, if something came up, I mean, I know we've got a process for if there was ever a bad situation that we could, bring a membership to a vote to kick somebody out of the club. And hopefully we never, ever need that. But that process is in our bylaws. But do we want to, from what, in your experience, is there anything unusual? Could we actually just simply refund somebody and cancel their membership if they request that in the middle of the year? Like, is there any issue with doing that if that ever were to happen?
I don't see an issue with it.
Okay.
I don't either. It's $20. Not, it's not a lifetime commitment.
Okay. Well, I money wise, I didn't think it was a big deal, but I didn't know with nonprofit rules and all that, and maybe Lynn would be a better one to ask if he does a lot of that. But I don't know, because if that's the case, if it's not a big deal, then I'd say let's just go on and vote as we normally do, and then see.
I just wait and see if he has a response.
Yeah. So you think maybe leave his out for now, and then we can just vote on it later?
If he has a response that says he wants the money back, then we can vote on it then.
Okay. Okay.
And this item will be offline. We'll show that we recessed for a personal,
Yeah.
I've forgotten what the terminology is.
Executive session.
Well, we
Yeah.
can, well, technically with executive sessions, you're supposed to keep minutes and all that. But
geez.
I mean, just, you could say maybe we discuss bylaws or membership. We
Membership,
discuss membership applications.
Membership rules.
How often do we see this come up?
It's not happened since 2017.
Joe, how often do
There
you
you go.
remember it ever coming up?
Once in a blue moon, maybe.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
But anyway, I don't know. I mean, that came through, and it was, I guess, 1 to 2 people or whatever. And so if I need to do anything differently, y'all let me know. But I was kind of reading it like, I don't know. I don't know how much time we need to spend holding somebody's hand.
The only thing we could do is try to have a welcoming committee at the meetings. Or a group of
Good
people
idea.
that would welcome new members. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I can think, to do.
Well,
A
Terry,
Walmart greeter.
as vice president, and I know you've got a lot of us have great personalities, or a lot of y'all have great personalities, but I mean, since as vice president, since you're one of the responsibilities is membership anyway, is that something when you're at a meeting you can try to make it a point to find the new folks? And I mean, if y'all see anybody too, feel free to point them to me, and I can try to also increase that reach. But I know, I mean, I had so much on my mind with the meeting that I totally didn't think about trying to
Yeah.
go
Well,
and speak anybody
usually
out.
it's me and Jim and Perry and Scott, and we're all up there at the front table, and they always come up and ask questions, and we try to
I know.
answer
Yeah.
answer their questions. Paul, we're all up there, and Mr. Joe, you always come through, and so it's it's almost like, you know, I do, and we do endeavor to speak to everyone, but I don't know, we can try to be more outgoing, I guess, but I'm an introvert in an extra world, you know, and, you know, so I mean, I try to.
Well, and I've gone around. I remember one meeting where we had the two young boys that were teenagers that got their licenses, and then part of the deal was their mom was going to get licensed too. But we can make our rounds and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I don't see that we can do much more than what we're already doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just my opinion.
To your question, Mary Jean, I'm happy to try to be nice and encourage people. I'm not sure I can look at that crowd and go, oh, that guy at that table's a new ham and that guy, but maybe we can, and we do a lot of encouraging, I feel like, at the test sessions too.
Yeah.
I know when we're signing people up and
See if we can.
they're passing their exams, we try to be really encouraging to them too. Maybe we could get a list of the people that are new members, and maybe sometime during the meeting just say, we'd like to welcome the following people, new members to Delta Club, and would everybody please clap or say hello or something. But I'm willing to help. I'm just not sure can look out at that sea of people and identify who the people are without a list or something, but I am willing to help on that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this guy.
When we do self-introduction, it's usually say that it's a new ham, and we clap and.
Wow.
Mr. Joe, you're always so good about calling out the people that have that tested and passed, and I mean, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
We test them, we shake their hand, we say, way to go. We really, and Joe makes a lot of connections with the class, about people that need radios and different things. But let's think what we can do. I mean, I'm definitely willing to do it, but I'm a little bit at a loss right now to think of what we're not doing that we need to be doing. But let's think about that.
We can set up a lemonade stand.
Let's go to membership, and we could go over that forever and ever. Yeah. Let's go to membership.
Okay.
One quick thing on that. Right. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, because I mean, we can think about that and see. I mean, if we want to do something with announcing at the previous, but in this particular case, it sounds like he submitted his application that night, so we wouldn't have had any idea. Like, if he submitted his application at the end of the night, we wouldn't have had any idea that he had just turned in his application, that night. And I'm assuming maybe he's been to one or two. But I don't know. So, I mean, we might not need to do anything different than we're doing, but I just wanted to bring it up since we had two different things come in. So, but, all right, if you want to.
Well, one thing on that one, assuming we vote to approve that individual, I could put one more follow-up in the membership card and say, hey, here's your membership card. Understand, though, that you might have had some issues at the meeting, and if you don't want to be a member, just let us know and we'll refund you.
I don't even think we need to go that far. I think he needs to respond to Mary Jean's email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just send it. Well, after we
approve. So you're thinking we sit on the application then, Joe, or do you think going and process it and then just not send anything yet and then wait till he responds to go?
I don't think he paid anything on the membership.
I think he did.
Did he?
Let me see.
Was he in your class, Joe?
No, he was not. He was in a test session.
It was a test session. Okay.
Yeah, he was in a test session, but not in the class.
Okay.
Did he join ARRL? Paul?
Yes, he did.
But he
I mean,
did
we
pay.
could.
He did pay, according to the application that Jim filled out or that Jim signed.
I say approve. I
Um,
say approve him, and then if he wants his money back, we'll just give him his money back. Approve him in the membership. That way, we're still trying to greet him in, and trying to still make him part of the family. And if he wants his money back after the second, if he comes back, if he doesn't come back,
Well, I agree. I think we should process it because, I mean, he may never respond to Mary Jean, and we don't want to sit on this forever. So I'd say go ahead and process it as well, and then later
Matter of fact, we've
complain.
gotten $15 from ARRL because of his ARRL membership.
Well, yeah. Okay.
You guys ready to go over them?
All right.
Yep.
Shoot.
All right. So there are 9 renewals, 3 new. The list is Jeff Breyer renewal, Dave Church renewal, Dan Fleck renewal, Bob O'Grady renewal. Bob actually paid twice. He paid in December and he paid again this month. And so I was going to ask him if he just wanted us to roll it forward to 2024. Rick Policiotti renewed. Eben Raves, actually, Eben paid twice this month. He paid it, well, at the end of last month and then paid again. And Jim was going to reach out to him to ask him if what he wanted to do. And I haven't heard from Jim since. Pam Sale renewal, Jonathan Urschel renewal, Ronnie Willard renewal, and then the 3 new ones were Whit Winfrey, Caleb Wise, and Randy Red.
All right. I'm sorry.
I was just going to move that we accept these.
All right. So we've got a motion on the floor to accept the membership application.
Second.
And that motion was made by Paul. I've got Joe as a second. Is there any discussion on this? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, the motion unanimously passes and the membership applications are accepted. So yeah, I guess, is there a consensus here to just simply for him to proceed as normal with that one particular one, and then if he responds, then we can deal with it from there? Okay.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Anything
One
else you
other
got
thing.
for us?
Yeah, just one other. I forgot to mention this last month. I did send a thank you letter to Park Dodge for the donation he made. So I just want to let y'all know
Awesome.
that I actually did do that. So that's it.
Cool.
And one of the memberships renewals had a donation on it also tonight.
Yeah, I'll send him a letter too.
Thank you. All right, before we forget, y'all, I'm going to go on and open up this treasurer's report. So that way we can do this. So, of course, Jim's not here, but treasurer's report, the beginning balance, $20,368.58, $712.20 of deposits and credits, checks for $425.61. And the ending balance was $20,655.17. Let's see. All right.
don't we have a CD that might be expiring pretty soon?
October, I think.
October. They got some good rates
November.
on. They got some good rates on some CDs.
November 26th, no,
25th.
November 25th, 23.
There's a 13-month CD for like 4.5%. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Dang.
By November, it might even be higher.
Good. I'm glad it's going that way. Well, I don't know. I guess there's
One
pros and cons
item on that top line is a $35, is it $35.20?
Yeah.
It was one where I made a deposit and they put it to the wrong account and they researched it, and I went and got them at the branch that I deposited, and they did a research and saw that it was to the wrong account. And so that's where they credited, and it was for payment of one of the Karen Chancellor items.
Thank you
and
for
the-
getting that straight.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jim could have done it in Bartlett. They had to pull the check from Poplar. So, you know, and the $250 is the payment for the Yazoo 100 radio.
Okay. So there's some deposits there. There's one check for $425.61. Of course, there's the current interest on the CDs, so they're doing pretty well so far. And then we had one new membership. We had 8 renewals. But we had a commission for new members of 15. We had a commission for 2 renewals for 10, and then some equipment sales there. And then of course we had some deposits for some of the polos, and then oh good, it's on here. And then Jim actually went by and dropped off the check and picked up the polos and settled that up. So, and of course we've had for the past couple months, he's been depositing the polos and everything. But is there any question on the treasurer's report?
No.
All right. Mike? You got anything for us, Mike? You there?
It helps if I unmute. Sorry. I assume no Zoom for this meeting.
Correct. We're done with, as from what we've mentioned last month or whatever, we're going to be done with the Zoom option unless
Okay.
something changes and we've got the option to bring it back up and vote on it. But for now, unless, just meeting in person at the
Yep.
Ellendale Church of Christ.
Okay. I got the program. Send me any announcements that we may have. And I've updated the April Sparks with everything that I've received, unless what I received today. So everything prior to today has been updated. So I'll be working on getting that out. It probably won't go out until Sunday, because I do plan on being up there for Free Fest in the afternoon. So I probably won't get back here till later, but try to get it out Sunday, or, as soon as I receive everybody's information and get it in there.
Okay.
And,
Sounds good.
really good work on the, helping out with the PayPal and everything. So I think that, we made a lot of good strides there. So, I think it's a lot of opportunity there for the club.
Good. Any questions for Mike? Terry, what about you?
Well, I will give some thought to what we can do to reach out to the new members. Like I said, that thing bothered me, but then again, people, a lot of people would just say, well, screw that group. I just won't go back. But write you and then write someone else. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I will definitely give that some thought, and I appreciate everything that everybody's doing. And if you ever need any help to test PayPal or do anything else, just let me know. But thanks to everybody for all the work that's going on behind the scenes. I appreciate it.
Okay. Good deal. All right. So while y'all were talking earlier, I was trying to create an account real quick. And I'm going to share this because I was able to log in and create an account for me under register.com. But I tried to go in, I had a password, and I tried to go in and get it where I could change some other information, and it wouldn't let me without, I guess they had a different password or something set. So I'm going to try to get in touch with Steve because I don't know whose credit card is on here, and it expires in 2024 anyway. So we've got to figure out how we can, because I don't want to go charging something if somebody's card's not ready to.
You
ready
said
to take it.
2024, Mary Jean? 2024?
Yeah, the credit card or debit card expires next year anyway.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm going to get in touch with Steve and try to. I mean, I know we've kind of got it enough where I think we can do it, but I'd like it to not go and just blindly charge on somebody's account unless we know who has it. Of course, it might be Bob, and if it's Bob, that'll be a little easier. But I'm gonna look into it more. But anyway, let me do a screen share so you guys can see the amount. So
I think it was
Tommy.
Lastly's. I think it was Lastly that did the purchase of that.
Oh, okay.
I think Dan Lastly did it.
Well, it was 4 years for what it was set. And so if we renew it at 4 years, so the private registration runs out in May, and then the domain itself runs out in June. Of course, I know sometimes these things that do automatic renewal or like they might charge you 30 days early or something, but this would be the price. And I like the idea of renewing it for several years at a time, and we can figure out a way to pass that on, but that way we don't have to keep messing with it and it's cheaper. But I mean, we can literally renew it as long as we want to renew it.
Any cheaper than longer?
Let's see. So for 1 year, it's 38, 2 years, 76, 10 years, $350.
$35, $35 piece.
460 and be done with this for 10 years if we want to.
I don't think we need to do it because then
Yeah.
nobody would know what the password or anything is.
Yeah. I 4 years seems like it's pretty good. I mean, that's what it did. And it's, it's recent enough that, I mean, I can remember us talking about it. So it's kind of familiar. But it's still not so close that it's like annoying to deal with every year.
There was another person who was in charge of that. That wasn't.
Dan Lastly.
Was it Dan?
Yep.
Okay.
Any 7J something or something, and he's changed his call sign again.
So at some point,
I'm pretty sure it was him that paid it.
At some point, Steve was able to go in and change. Okay, why is this? Oh.
It looks like the password I have was from 2020.
So right now it looks like Steve was able to go in, and I don't know if that's Steve's cell phone. I have to go and compare. But Steve's email address is listed under Tommy's information, but it's Tommy. And so I'm hoping maybe it's just Steve's credit card if Steve's email got on there. Because I believe he was president at the time. And then Bob Balder has an account on here. And then I just created an account on here. So hopefully
what phone number was showing? 218-6385?
218-6385.
That's Steve Frazier's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, because I was trying to go in and change something that was taking a password, but there's different things. It's like you've got the password to log in, then you have a password like a PIN number. Of course, it says the PIN number, and I entered that, so I don't know. I can see why he was hitting his head up against the wall, trying to figure out how to change certain things, and I'm glad he was able to at least get it. But anyway, what I was getting at though, because I'll look into more of this later to see what we can change and try to get the credit card, figure out at least who has it so we can be good to go there. But as far as renewal, do we, assuming there's no issue with anything, do we like the 4 years? Do we want to shorten it? Go out to
Was that
5
the
years?
default?
You know?
Was that the
That
default?
is what
Mary?
that is what we did last time. So would be the default for this time, because
And
that's
what is
what
the
we,
1 year thing? Web
I guess it's
forwarding?
just one of those for, you know how it's just a free service, I guess,
Okay.
which I don't think we've used it, but I don't know.
Okay.
But these are the two main ones. So, you know, private registration, of course, so that way people can't email you, and then the renewing the domain, deltaclub.org.
I
Do
think
you want to do
that's
it for a shorter time? Do you want to do it for a shorter time so at least they'll be in a smaller window where people remember stuff? Or don't we have it logged down somewhere?
Well, he forwarded me the login.
Okay.
And he actually forwarded me this when we did the transition. I just honestly I forgot about it. And so he reminded me and all that, and so we were able to get that straight. And I used that main account login, and that's what I'm logged in as right now. But like, there's so many different fail safes that, like, even when you enter in the PIN code and this and that, you still can't change certain things. So I've got to talk to him and see if maybe it sends like a 2-factor code or something. But I don't know. I mean, I would think 3 to 5 years in that range would be fine.
I just need to,
like,
we need to log it somewhere so that it shows up in 3 years or something in some
yeah.
place. Do you have it in your rules and of being president or whatever?
Well, I don't really have any made up yet, but we went and added it. We went and added it last meeting, I think, right when we did the board of directors, the calendar to-do list. I think we plugged it in there. And so now that I actually know the specific date, what I don't mind doing, especially if we go out like 4 or 5 years or something, or even 3 years, maybe putting in parentheses a couple of the years of when it's gonna, like the actual year of when it's going to expire or renew. And so that way, I mean, there is no question of, well, what year was it? So how many years, you know, let's count out 3, like, because they can always, whoever's president or secretary or whoever can go in and delete the old years and you know, do the math.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would think that would be a good spot. So that way any board member has it. But I don't know. I mean, we can do something differently. I'm all about setting calendar appointments and the iCloud or whatever to come up, but I don't know. So, I mean, do we want to stick with 4 years, or do we want to shorten it or elongate it?
4 years sounds good.
So we've got 4 years, Paul,
Yeah.
Terry, Joe.
roll with it.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right.
It just makes it easier to get forgotten.
I think, I want to say this was in the budget. Do you guys remember? Do we need to go on and vote on this just in case? So we're set.
This is under miscellaneous, so
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'll work with Steve pretty quick to figure out whose credit card that is, and then we can go from there. But we did find we're logged in, so we're at least, I don't know, kind of there. So, all right.
Is there any way to get a discount, or is that usually standard, or is there variables?
I thought there would be a better discount for going further out, but I mean, if it's for 1 year, it's 38, and then for 10 years,
It's only
it's
35.
35 a year. Like, so I don't know. I mean, if somebody's got more experience if we need to try to look and see if we want to switch, we can. But honestly, I'd be kind of hesitant to switch. Unless any of y'all have experience with that, or if I need to check with Bob Balder, because I know he's done a lot with the websites and stuff to see. But I don't know, for 35 a year, 38 a year, that still doesn't sound too bad to me this is our website.
Yeah. And we need to keep it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. All right. Does anybody else have anything else? I know we've been on here for a long time. And I apologize for being a little late today, guys. But I know we also covered a lot today too. So I appreciate all of you for doing what you do and everything. So is there anything else? All right. Well, my AirPods are dying. So, well, hearing nothing else, we stand adjourned at 8:47.
Thank
Hearing
you.
nothing else because you can't hear anything else. Is that it?